needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever. The voice of Wisconsin during the entire uprising, John Nichols. And I just want to say one thing that you might not know about him, because it's hard to think of something, and that is that his daughter and my daughter share the greatest child care provider in Madison, Wisconsin. Oh, Nick McMurray was sitting in the front row. And that John not only is the voice of Wisconsin in the national media, but he is also a dad of a Madison public school system student, and that during her kindergarten year, he went to lunch at her public school here in Madison every single day. So I give you John.
That is in fact true. And I found that the training of opening yogurt containers and encouraging children to eat their carrots was very, very useful in dealing with politicians. Although I will tell you that having dealt with the current legislature, I would be very pleased to replace most of them with the Lapin luncher. Now, my goodness, let me just say up front, as we always should at gatherings of this sort, that I know we were talking about electing a governor of Wisconsin. We could certainly use one. But I would be remiss if I did not say that for the better part of a decade, or actually the better part of 15 years, I have had a governor of Wisconsin. I have had a governor who, when the Democratic Party in this state was talking about standing down and allowing Tommy Thompson to walk to re-election in 1998, an act that would have ensured the defeat of Russ Feingold and that would have destroyed the Democratic Party and the progressive movement in this state for a generation, one man stepped up and said, "I will not let that happen." That man ran the campaign that rebuilt the Democratic Party in this state and rebuilt the progressive movement in this state. And my governor of Wisconsin since then, and for as long as I will be able to speak a word in this state, is Ed Garvey. Lieutenant Governor, I think I'm picking Ruth Connick. Now, I want to also say we're in a room with so many distinguished people, and I would begin, of course, with Ola. And I'll tell you that she's organizing this fabulous event on the 12th at the Madison East Side Club, and she's going to have kids reading from the Constitution. I know that is a radical concept, but if you remember that Melissa Sargent got her kids arrested up at the Capitol, I think we are going to have to teach our kids the Constitution. They're going to need it, so do come out and back up Ola's great event. We are also, I want to just say about Doug LaFollette. I have known Doug since I was 8 years old, and I have always had immense respect for Doug LaFollette. And he has been an absolutely principled and courageous political figure. But he was never more principled and more courageous than when he had the entire pressure, not merely of Governor Walker and the Republican legislature, but the right-wing messaging machine, not just in Wisconsin, but across the United States, attacking him when he followed the law and refused to file Act 10. Yeah. Doug LaFollette. Just say that as much as I respect Doug, I've got an equal level of respect for Kathleen Vinehout, because Kathleen Vinehout, you know that if just one state senator had chosen not to go to Illinois, the ultimate sacrifice for any Wisconsinite, if one state senator had just buckled in that great struggle, everything would have fallen apart. And I will tell you, when I went to Illinois, to the lovely La Quinta Inn in the parking lot opposite Great America, you can now be told. When I went to Illinois, and when we gathered in one hotel room with all of those state talk, the one person who was absolutely unyielding and good-spirited and passionate about doing this for as long as it takes was State Senator Kathleen Vinehouse. There's critical points in the great struggle here in Wisconsin. Critical points where we had in this county, Dane County, which has the legal authority over so many things that deal with the state, we had a challenge in this county. Would Dane County officials take the risk of standing up to Governor Walker and standing up to the political power, not just the legislature, but again, that right-wing messaging machine from across this country. And we were unbelievably lucky in that period, in February and March, that Kathleen Falk was our county executive, and she put the full force of Dane County behind the struggle for workers' rights in this state. Kathleen Falk. I will tell you, there's nothing quite like standing at the King Street entrance to the capital of this great state of Wisconsin. Standing there on a cold winter afternoon, early evening, 50,000 workers, farmers, and their supporters from across the state rallying on behalf of basic human rights, knowing that the struggle was overwhelming, knowing everything that we were up against, feeling that we might not make it, not sure that we could build what we needed to build. And then, in the distance, to hear the sound of bagpipes and to watch marching into the center of that rally, Local 311 Wisconsin firefighters led by Malin Mitchell. I'll tell you, so I got no choice for governor. Although I did hear, and we just heard minutes ago, that Tim Cullen, state senator from Janesville, has decided to drop out of the governor's race. Tim was one of those people who went to Illinois. I honor him greatly for having stood strong in that struggle. And I kind of am amused by the fact that Governor Walker said how much he liked him, and yet Tim didn't come back. And so I give Tim high marks, but Tim has decided not to run. Other people may run. That's the reality. Politics brings people in, pushes people out. But I want to tell you that, to my mind, the race that is about to begin is not about who the Democratic candidate is. In fact, I will tell you, I'll be voting in the Republican primary for Charlie Uphoff, who will be challenging Governor Walker in the Republican primary. But seriously, folks, this is not about who the Democratic candidate is. We have reduced ourselves to such silly punditocracy, such silly obsession with politics and position. Even we who are progressives, who are passionate about keeping money out of politics, about bringing ethics into politics, about talking about the environment and education and so many issues, we become such pundits that we fret about, oh, will we have the right candidate? Will we have this? I want to have the right candidate. I want to have the right race. But this race is not about who the Democratic candidate is. This race is about removing a governor